Howdy AGP students, this is Nick Verdina. I'm your SAT mathematics teacher, and today I'll be going over trial and error, backdoor, and grid ends. Today, after the whole video, I'd like you guys to be able to understand trial and error, the backdoor, and grid ends, and I want you to be able to identify them on the SAT because in the mathematics section, you'll have them in different order. They won't just be trial and error first, then backdoor, and then grid ends. So on the SAT, what is trial and error? Normally trial and error, they have a certain form. So they'll have just numbers in the answer choices like this, which is really easy to identify. It's usually most of the SAT questions. Trial and error are easy. We actually enjoy those more than any other ones because it's really easy to take answer choice C first and plug it in for our answer. We take answer choice C because on the SAT the answers are in order. They'll go from the smallest number to the largest number. Okay, so our first example for trial and error is imagine a baseball has a velocity of 60 feet per second and it's thrown a distance of 60 feet. The pitcher's second throw reaches the plate faster than his first. How fast is the second pitch? It says that the pitcher's second throw reaches the plate 0.25 seconds faster. So what may be going on right now for you as a student is you might be thinking about all the equations you learned in your math class. But you have to remember that the methods that we'll be teaching you are not going to be similar to math class. What you want to basically do for trial and error is use the answer choices they give you and plug them in to get the answer faster. So try and avoid using algebra as much as possible. What we want to do is we want to try C first and see if that works, and then move to 80 B or 100 D depending on what we get with C. So what was his first throw? His first throw was 60 feet thrown at 60 feet per second. That means his first throw took 1 second. We know that his second throw is 0.25 seconds faster, so we know that it was 0.75 seconds total. So what velocity would give us 0.75 seconds? Let's see. If we try 90 feet per second times 0.75 seconds would give us a distance of 67.5 feet. But we know that to be longer or a longer distance than the home plate really is. The plate we know is 60 feet from the pitcher. So the next thing we need to do with trial and error is to choose a number that would give us an answer closer to what we know to be the right answer. So we're looking for 60. That means we need a smaller number. Instead of going to 100, the next thing you should choose to try is 80. Try 80 times 0.5 to see if you get 60 feet. And when you do that, 80 feet per second times 0.75 seconds gives us the right answer. It didn't require us to know any equations from math class. And it seems, dang it, I don't want to say it seems to be. How many times would it be?
Just 8.
Okay, our first trial and error example involves a baseball. Imagine a baseball that has velocity 60 feet per second and a home plate that's 60 feet from the pitcher. If the pitcher throws his second throw 0.25 seconds faster than his first, how fast did he throw his second pitch? Now that sounds like a lot of information, and if you were in math class you would want to use some of the equations that your math teacher had taught you. But you would have a list to choose from. So with trial and error it's made easy. What you want to do first is try C. C in this case is 90 feet per second. Try C and see if that works. Okay, after we try C, we'll move on to D or B, depending on if we want a larger number or a smaller number. Okay, so let's think about his first throw. His first throw was thrown at 60 feet per second, and the distance was 60 feet from the pitcher. That means that it took 1 second for the baseball to reach home plate. His second throw is 0.25 seconds faster. So what was his new pitch, the second pitch's velocity? Well, let's try C. What's 90 feet per second times 0.5 seconds? When you multiply those two, you find that it's 67.5 feet, which is not the distance to home plate. The plate we know is 60 feet from the pitcher. So, because we got a large number, when we multiplied the two, we would like to choose a number that's smaller when multiplying. So our next choice would be B. Try 80 feet per second. See if it's a smaller number. 80 feet per second times 0.5 seconds is 60 feet. And that's exactly what we're looking for, so good job. Alright, the next section is backdoor. So what is backdoor on the SAT? Backdoors have variables in the answer choices. And backdoors are really easy too. In backdoors, what we basically do is we choose our variables. They'll have x's and y's in the equation, and they'll have x's and y's in the answer choices, so they're really easy to identify. When you're doing backdoor also, you need to keep in mind that when you choose numbers for your x, or you choose numbers for your y, numbers like 0, 1, or 2 are typically answers that will give you an answer that's represented twice by the answer choices. So keep in mind, when you're thinking of numbers, choose 3 or greater. So in this case, you would choose maybe 3 and 4 for y, x and y. And these are what the answer choices would look like. Okay, our first example for backdoor. Price of a shirt is X dollars, and X is less than 100. If the price is reduced by X plus 1%, what's the new price of the shirt? Okay. So we're taught in math class to know the equation immediately. To just have it in our mind, and just from there we can start plugging and chugging and getting an answer. That's not going to be the fastest way to do this on the SAT. The SAT has given us answers, so we can use that to our advantage. With backdoor, we will notice that the answer choices have variables in them, so we can make up numbers. What's a price that you've paid for a shirt recently? Okay, I chose $60. So choose a price for the shirt. What if the price of the shirt is 60? Then it would be reduced by 61%, and that means that we're looking for a shirt that's $36.60 less than $60, because 61% of 60 is 36.6. Okay, another key thing to remember for backdoor is that you want to try all the answer choices. Start from A until you get the answer. The answer choice that we're looking, or the number that we're looking for in this case, is 23.4, or $23.40, because that's the reduced price. But the answer choices won't have 23.4. They'll have x's or y's in them. So let's go ahead and try the first answer, A. If we take 60 and put it in place of x, we'll see that it's 60 minus 60 times 61. This is going to give us a negative number, and that means that they basically give us the shirt for free. So that we know this is not the right answer. Our next choice is B. B is x minus x times x plus 1 divided by 100. Okay, let's take our value that we chose, 60 for x, plug it in, and see if we get our answer, 23.4. When we do that, it's 60 minus 60 times 61 divided by 100, and that gives us, when you do all the math, the answer that we're looking for. So we know immediately that B is going to be our correct answer. That's the key for backdoors. Backdoors, you're looking for a number. You want to keep that in mind. You want to choose your x's and y's, solve for the answer, and then look for the answer choice that gives you that number. B is our answer. For grid-ins, grid-ins are a combination of trial and error. They can be either or. The only difference is grid-ins will have 4 boxes, and you'll have to create the answer yourself using the fraction sign, the decimal, zeros, ones, twos, threes, etc. So a key thing to remember with grid-ins is that with trial and error, they'll have answer choices. With backdoors, they'll have answer choices. But with grid-ins, they won't, and they'll never be counted against you if you answer them. But you have to keep in mind that when you do answer these questions, you're using some of your time on the SAT. So remember what Rob said with his basketball example. in his video, you want to shoot for a certain score, and you only want to shoot or attempt the problems that you know you can get. So grid-ins have 4 boxes, a fraction sign, and decimals and numbers. Our first example for grid-in. X is 1/5 of y, and y is 3/10 of z, and z is greater than 0. What is, then x is what fraction of z? Okay, so immediately, if you wanted to attempt this with the math you've been taught in class, you'd have to know how to relate x to z without any y's in it, and that can be difficult. You might actually sit there for a second and think, I don't even know how to begin this one. But when we identify that this is an equation with variables in it, we know to create our own numbers. So this is a backdoor. We can choose our numbers then. Choose x to be 3. So if x is 3, x is 1/5 of y. So we know that y is then 15, because 3 is y divided by 5, or y is 15. We then move on to our next variable. If y is 15, then it says that y, or 15, is 3/10 of z. So we can find z to be by multiplying 150 divided by 3, or z is 50. So from that information, we then see our x and our z, and we can relate one to the other. X is what fraction of z? X is 3/50 of z, and that's our answer. So again, we've chosen to basically use a backdoor method. We chose numbers for our variables, and it made it a whole lot easier than using classroom math. And that's the key. That's the key when I'll start the lessons, is that we're not going to be doing things like we do normally in class, where we have to know equations, memorize formulas, F equals ma. We'll basically just be making up numbers or using the answer choices they give us. So it's going to be a whole lot easier, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope to basically see you guys soon. And remember, trial and error, you take the answer choice C and plug it in. Backdoor, you choose numbers greater than 3. And grid-ins, it'll be a combination of one or the other. Alright guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.